Yes, welcome to the Biz Communication Show. I'm your host, Bill Lampton. Every week, having a conversation with an outstanding business communicator so that you and I can learn and we can boost our sales, our marketing, our teamwork, our leadership, and very importantly, our profits as well. Today is another special privilege. I always consider hosting any prominent guest a real privilege. Lorrie Thomas Ross and I became acquainted several years ago when she was still living in California. I was hosting a radio show for Brenau University in Gainesville, Georgia, where I'm based. I got in contact with Lorrie, asked her if she would be a guest on that radio show. She said yes. And I said, but Lorrie, I need to tell you, we are 3 time zones apart. It will be 6 a.m. your time. She said, no problem. And it was no problem. And as expected, she did a great job for us. Lorrie Thomas Ross works with inspiring leaders, helping them brand, build, and boost business. She's the CEO of Web Marketing Therapy, a marketing agency that diagnoses, prescribes, and guides healthy marketing solutions. She also leads Wild Web Women, a business and marketing training company that helps women create the lives they want and deserve. She wrote the McGraw-Hill 36-hour course to online marketing. And yes, I still have a copy of this book. Blessed it at the time, welcomed it, reviewed it very positively on Amazon, and still refer to it as you will want to when you purchase it. And she's currently working on a second book. I know you'll join me in welcoming Lorrie Thomas Ross. Hello, Lorrie.
Hi.
You know, Lorrie, when you and I had our initial conversation several years ago, one of the things that struck me was that if you look back at where you were when you got into the digital world, that was probably highly unpredictable because tell us about it. You didn't exactly have the background that a resume would say this lady's going to be a web marketer and a digital marketer and all the things you become.
No, and I laugh. I'm smirking because it is so true. I was in retail management. I was with Saks Fifth Avenue, and I was doing mostly personal shopping for wonderful, wonderful clients. And it was one of those fluky afternoons where I was wardrobing someone for one of her travels, and she said, "You should leave Saks and come work for me on the internet." And I said, "That's very nice. Thank you. That's very sweet. But let's finish up. Like, these shoes go with this handbag, and let's get you all set for your trip." And she said, "No, seriously, I don't." And I said something like, I'm not very technical. And she said, "I need people who know about client relations and customer service, and really people who can sell from that perspective." And I let it go. And about probably 4 or 5 months later, she called me, and it was one of those serendipitous moments where I was the one person who answered the phone. Remember the old phones that like were plugged into the wall? I answered one of those, and I had the entire store in a meeting. And she said, "It's me. You'd be so foolish not to do this." And I think I said something like, "Can I wear jeans to work?" And she said yes. And so I did it. And yeah, my first email address was Lorrie at this company. It was one of those online advertising networks. It was a huge one. I did sell those obnoxious banner ads back in the 90s. I'm so sorry. Like the ones that were like the flashing banner ads, because that's all that online marketing was. And I had to learn. That's how I learned everything. I learned how to type at that job. I mean, I didn't know how to type. I had a coworker turn her chair around and go, "Are you typing with 2 fingers?" I was like, but yes, I'm a customer service person at heart, and I brought that relationship, building piece to a very, at the time, very technical job. And actually went back to Saks Fifth Avenue after the dot-com boom and the company went public, and I got recruited again to sell online advertising for another company, and my career just took off from there.
What you remind me of, Lorrie, is something that I thought of several years ago, and that is that In many ways, our professional lives and maybe even our personal lives sort of resemble a jigsaw puzzle. You remember when you were a kid, maybe you put out all the pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, and as you looked at it, this piece over here looked so useless, and this piece over here, how could it ever fit into anything? To me, professional development and our career, if we're open to new opportunities and new avenues, the same thing happens. I look back, I'm in my third career. And there are things in my first and second career that I said at the time, my gosh, this is a waste of time. It's boring. It's
Hmm.
not going to get me anywhere. And oddly enough, those might be some of the things that I use every day as stepping stones to what's happening.
Yes.
So life and business, one of the exciting things about it is how unpredictable they are, and also what can happen to us when we're open to those new avenues as you were.
Absolutely. It's a journey. It's a journey. It's not a destination. And when I'm working with uh, either mid-career professionals or professionals just starting to build their their career, they'll say things like, well, I don't have this experience. And I'll say, talk to me about this volunteer project you did. And they'll talk about it. And I'm like, here we go. It's all here. And it's just helping them look at all of the pieces of that puzzle. I love that analogy that's how these things go. And even though I've had my business now for almost 15 years, it's evolved so much, not only because of my team and I and where we've wanted to shift the company, but also because of the web world that we're in. It changes all the time. I mean, now everything's here, like we're designing websites for these tiny little devices. And so it's a totally different world, and it's a different way to communicate, and it changes for businesses and for leaders.
It's interesting you hold up your phone there. I think you and I and so many professional people, if we misplace our phone for 5 minutes, we almost go ballistic. I mean, there's our world, there's our work. You live in the Atlanta area as I do, and of course, we have so many thunderstorms in the last couple of years. I know Atlanta had a very strong one last night. Some trees were down, and when the power goes out and we don't have access to our computers, my
Right.
gosh, even 30 minutes seems like a long time to disconnect, doesn't it?
It does. And I live in the world, and my company is called Web Marketing Therapy. And so I live in the world of psychology, but I'm also in the world of technology and marketing and communications. And and yes, I have these moments of when I can't log on, and it just makes me stop and go, you know what? This is time to reflect and allow the creativity to flow. And I will encourage clients to just unplug, and just step away from the phone, write things down, because we do find that there's so much noise happening, like the disruptions that we have. So yes, I completely agree. And there's moments where I'm like, I just need to hit send. Like, but then I also find that it's really refreshing to have those breaks, because we do know, unlike younger generations who don't know the difference. I know what it's like to not have these devices all the time. And so it's a very different way to work and think and communicate. And sometimes you got to unplug to recharge.
What an amazing world we live in. We don't have to carry quarters and look for payphones that nobody's using. Well, much better now. You used the word marketing a minute ago. What intrigues me, and I know will intrigue our listening and viewers, is that you have a unique twist on marketing because you even spell it differently. Instead of Marketing, Markeding. Explain that to us. What's that all about?
Yes. So it started when I was teaching for UC Santa Barbara and UC Berkeley through the extension programs. I would work with mostly corporate professionals who the companies were having their employees take my courses. And they'd say, "Oh, Lorrie, I'm just not, oh, marketing." And you'd watch the body language and the squirming. And I love marketing. I just love it. It's about building relationships and connecting people. And I had to stop and go, wait a minute. I'm My perception of what marketing is not what their perception is. And so let's just break this down so that these students can go back to the office and have some breakthrough results. And as we started to break it down, all of these stereotypes of marketing is sales, it's pushy, it's advertising, and I'm just giving some of the stereotypical comments that would come in. And so one day I just wrote on the board, MARKEDING. And of course, the students are like, our teacher can't spell, right? And, and the smart aleck in me just stood there for a moment and just, savored that moment. And I circled the ED and I said, it's education. What do you need to help your audience understand? Hands go up. I need them to understand that we're the only company that does this, or that the difference between us and the competitors is this, or that what we're doing is this. Great. It's education. Let's use that language. Let's communicate that throughout various aspects of your marketing, your website, your LinkedIn profile, your all over the place, your email marketing, your tagline. Let's teach. Stop thinking of marketing as this like used car salesman kind of thing, and let's just teach. And then all of a sudden it was like the walls began to come down and the ideas started flowing. And so being the marketing nerd that I am, I trademarked it because that's what you do. And so if you go to markeding.net, markeding.net, there's more about it and the concepts behind it. But it's something that I put in many, many educational talks, whether I'm giving a guest lecture at a university or I'm giving a speech, at a conference. It's just helping, and it's a great way. It's a mindset shift that when you think about marketing in an altruistic way, because what is teaching? Teaching is selfless. It's, you're helping. And when you communicate in a way that's helpful and not self-serving, not we are the best, we do this, we are so awesome, but looking at it from the customer's perspective and just teaching. And that's where the content marketing comes in, the blog posts, the articles, the press releases. This educational approach to marketing is so effective. And I gave a talk years ago about why and how I came up with this term. And I said, it's effective and it's ethical. And I said I couldn't say methoding with ethical in it, 'cause it sounds like meth. So, but it's looking at it in a way that's just, it's give to gain. And I'll wrap up with that. When you give with marketing, you gain.
I like so much your comparison between marketing and what you called the guy who wears sunglasses indoors.
Yes, 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 yes. And it's like, too cool for school. No, you're not. There's always going to be a company out there that's faster, cheaper, smarter, more aggressive. And it's about being sustainable in our businesses. And it's not like this like fast race to the finish line. If you look at your business and you look at the life of your organization, you want to sustain. And if you speed up and do all this like speedy, hurry marketing, you're going to burn out. But if you do the slow and steady wins the race kind of approach, you will win. I was just at a business retreat and one of the business leaders said, slow is steady, steady is smooth, smooth is fast. And that is my approach to marketing. Small steps compound over time to make a big difference. And so taking that time once a month, I'm not saying once a week, once a month, to write a really quality blog post. Yes, it can be that easy. That step can just build and compound. And then you have more content to share and you can repurpose that. A great video or an interview can become something that's on YouTube, on your website, shared on social media, shared again several months later. And so it's just building this, almost a library, if you will, since we're looking at education as the analogy, building this library of content that brands builds and boosts business.
I think a good way to put it from what you're saying is we're not looking for instant success. We're looking for something that's cumulative, that builds.
Yes. And it's quality over quantity. And when you educate, someone might read the post and it could be the top questions to ask before you hire a whatever, insert attorney, wellness coach, whatever it is. And someone will read that and they're like, oh, I didn't think to ask what professional associations they were a part of. I didn't. Oh, okay. And when you educate, you empower people. And when people feel empowered, there's a connection. And it's like, oh, Bill just helped me look at something in a way that I hadn't even thought of. That was incredibly helpful. The relationship begins. And then when they're educated, you have a more ideal customer coming to you, whether they're buying a pair of sneakers and they're reading about how they're made and how they're handcrafted. And that's a beautiful about page that's educational, not self-serving. You're building connections, and you can think about how you remember people. You don't remember someone for answering emails the fastest or, for having like the lowest prices. You remember experiences. You remember how people make you feel, and you remember how brands make you feel. This is the era of social media. It's not anti-social media, it's social. And that means that organizations and leaders are humanizing themselves to create meaningful connections, and educational content is that bridge.
This reminds me that you have a different concept from the traditional concept of what we need to accomplish in a first meeting with a prospective client. In the old style, of course, we were we were often expected, what do you mean you didn't come away with a signed contract? What's your recommendation about what's reasonable and what's beneficial in the long run in our first meeting with a prospective client?
Yes, so great point to cover. When I get on the phone with a prospective client and I do free consultations, we begin to talk and I listen. I'm the marketing therapist. It's my job to understand where they're at, where they want to go, and also to save them from being in danger to themselves and others, which happens quite a bit. Just recently, it was someone who said, we need to redo our website. Okay, well, let's talk about that. It's our busy season right now. We're super slammed and we need this new website. Okay, I'm hearing you're super busy, but then going through a website redesign is very time consuming. No matter how great the agency is, you still have to review things. And I said, help me understand why you feel like you need a new website. Crickets. Well, because some other company said, let's stop right there. That company was selling their services and they are motivated to sell their service. They're not serving you, they're serving themselves. So when I have a free consultation call, I am not selling, I'm offering solutions. And what I did on that call is I said, you don't need a new website. What you have is really good. It's working for you right now. You need to take care of all of the customers in your pipeline. So marketing's good. The customers are in the pipeline. Now we're looking at operations, even administrative stuff like contracts and all that. We could build you a beautiful new website. It's a nice to have. It's not a need to have. What you need to do right now is take care of your customers. Here's some tips. Here we go. And it turned out that we ended up doing nothing together. And they're going to remember me for saving them money. And so stop selling your own services. And if you start selling solutions, and that's what therapy is all about. Therapy is about empowering people, making them better, healing. And my ethical approach is to get people off the couch, and to grow. And just like Maslow's hierarchy of needs in psychology, you have your basic needs like food and shelter, and then you have love and belonging, and you eventually reach self-actualization. And I've had clients that have reached that peak, and then they've decided to change careers, and they come down a little bit, and they rebrand, retool, and they go right back up. And so my job is to be supportive, and my employees and I, we're about supporting our clients so that they can be the best that they can be. And so whether you're buying services from someone, always think about it and just understand where their motivations lie. Are they motivated to, what was, I think you said, Bill, like to close that, come out of that call with a contract? Is that what they're motivated to do? Are they really motivated to help you? Because you have to be your own advocate. And in my world, sometimes I will help clients hire other website companies or other content marketing companies, or just do an audit and say, wow, this company's doing amazing things and they've actually been suggesting this thing right here. You need to do that. And then the company's like, thank you. And the client's like, thank you. And I'm like, my work is done. Oh, goodbye. But think about services versus solutions. And in business, you need solutions and you need communication solutions that will support you for the life of your organization.
I like so much another phrase of yours, and I believe I found this one in one of your LinkedIn articles. I certainly recommend that people connect with you on LinkedIn. You have some wonderful articles and advice there. I liked it where you said that we're turned off by insultants, but we welcome consultants.
Yes. Yes. Insultants can also be described as seagulls, where they come in and they crap all over everything and they fly away. I know you're going to remember it. Sorry, it's not like the most beautiful, but it kills me that in this day and age that people can still charge to come in and make someone feel bad or to make a team, like it's, again, it goes back to solutions. A consultant offers solutions. A good consultant makes things better. An insultant just insults everything and builds themselves up. It's about their ego and just walks away. And you want to be paying for solutions. You don't want to be paying to like trudge through, yeah, maybe you didn't have the right content marketing in place. And sure, maybe the last marketing manager didn't do a few things, but the past is the past. Let's move forward and let's be positive and proactive. And if there is someone on your team, whether it's in the organization or someone you are paying, and please, if you're paying them, break up and see other people, but you want to make sure that the people on your team are truly there to help you, whether they're inside or outside vendors, so that they're moving you towards better things.
Lorrie, I know that there are those who have benefited tremendously, as I do every time that I talk with you. They'd like your contact information, so please tell us how to get in touch with you and anything else you want to say about your resources.
Sure. I'm Lorrie Thomas Ross. I'm on LinkedIn. That's a great way to connect. And especially if you connect, just mention that we're connected through Dr. Bill Lampton, and that will help me kind of get through the various messages. My website is lorriethomasross.com. That website will take you to webmarketingtherapy.com, and also to I have another training company called Wild Web Women, and that came about because I was speaking at a conference a few years ago, and it was about social media marketing, very business focused, and the hands go up, and it was mostly women. And these women were asking me questions about how to sell, how to negotiate, how to get partners to be supportive of their new business venture, how to manage work and life and kids. And I came back to the hotel and I said to my husband, who would travel with me, I said, there's more that I can be teaching, because for the last 15 years, I've worked with amazing women, not only for women, but with women, the women who are on my team and our one guy. We've built a lifestyle company. And so we teach administrative marketing and operations. So we do have a separate leg for women for all the business pieces. And then Web Marketing Therapy is the marketing agency that does optimizing specifically for various organizations. But I'm all over the web. Just Google me, and I would love to connect. And if there's any questions I can answer, don't hesitate to reach out. Any friend of Bill's is a friend of mine.
Yes, indeed, you are all over the web, very productively, and very much in a servant attitude, I believe. And now that Lorrie has given her contact information, I'm happy to share mine. The Biz Communication Guy, so logically, my website is B-I-Z, bizcommunicationguy.com. I invite you to go there, check my services for corporations and leaders. And also, I invite you there to sign up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I have many instructional videos there. My telephone, 678-316-4300. And as Lorrie Thomas does, I enjoy talking with people about their needs and seeing if I can assist them with my professional services. Lorrie, any closing thoughts for us?
I would just encourage you all to have fun with your communications. And when we are relaxed and we're on brand, but we're also on purpose, and we're very intentional about what we're doing, and you're doing it from a place of passion and purpose, all of a sudden marketing and content and business communications become fun and enjoyable. And that's really what I want to see. I want to see great leaders and organizations happy and having fun, because when you're doing that, you're attracting the best possible customers. So have fun and tell me all about it.
Well said, well said. Thanks again to those of you who have joined us for the Biz Communication Show. Be with us next week when we have another productive, informative, and yes, profitable conversation. I'm Bill Lampton, the Biz Communication Guy.